everyone. Hi, my name is Yardley, and I am a homeschool mother of two boys. I have been homeschooling my children for the past 10 years, and as my oldest child is finishing out his last year and getting ready to move on as an adult, I decided to come on and kind of go over how I've homeschooled my children, things that have helped me, tips, tricks, how to go about homeschooling. Just go over the things that I've done that may help any and all people that are considering homeschooling in the future. So, because there's a lot to go over, this video will definitely be in parts. But for now, I'm going to jump right on in with why I decided to homeschool in the first place. So, I am a neurodivergent mommy of two neurodivergent children. I have one who is left brained and one who is right brained. And because of the challenges that they faced in public schools and private schools, mainly behaviorally, I will say my oldest child mirrored some of the same behavioral issues that I had growing up as a child. It doesn't mean he's not intelligent. He's extremely smart. I call him my little Sheldon, he's very smart. However, he can get overwhelmed and his behavior doesn't always reflect his age, right? And so I know that there is a school to prison pipeline. And I'm also aware of the reason how schools became a thing in the first place, right? And I am a firm believer that education is the key. And I'm not quite sure and I'm not quite convinced that traditional school, public or private, educates children anymore. And so, with that being said, if you are considering homeschooling your children, the first thing I would advise you to do is to go to a website called Hilsa. I'm going to put it up somewhere so you guys can see it. And that is the homeschooling advocacy website. And there you can find all of the states and where they fall within no notice regulation, low regulation, moderate regulation, and high regulations. And so you can kind of gain information and go through the laws there on that website. Now, because I homeschool in Georgia, for those of you who are watching and you may be seeing me here in Georgia, you're going to go to the Department of Education's website. I'm going to put it up here as well. And what you're going to do is fill out what's called a letter of intent, okay? And that is where you will officially put it in there that your child is being homeschooled, name, grade, etc., and you send it off. And always keep a file, always keep a copy, always email it to myself every year. And it does come in handy for certain things. He's going to need it. They're going to need that when they get ready to do their license, and other things. So very important that you put in your letter of intent. Now, Georgia homeschool laws state that the child must be educated between 4.5 hours a day, 180 days a year. Okay? That's all you got to do. 4.5 hours a day, 180 days a year. My children personally go year round for a number of reasons, because I have found from personal experience, letting them off for the summer turns them into blithering idiots. It's just the truth. And it takes a lot to get them back on schedule and back on routine. So I just decided a while ago, year round, let's keep it going. Let's keep that brain fresh, right? You're supposed to learn something new every day. So it doesn't matter how old you get, you can still learn something. So that's one of the things that we kind of have established in our household. Now, when it comes to how to get in these 4.5 hours, right? Through experience, especially with boys, I have found it so much easier to start the day with activities. So they have breakfast and then we leave and they go exercise or do PE. Then they come back and then they have lunch. By then, they're good to sit for 4.5 hours. And also, it gives incentive, because if you can't finish your schoolwork in the 4.5 hours it should take you from lunch until the afternoon, then it starts to eat into your fun time or your playtime. Okay, now let me pause here and say, I believe that in order to homeschool, you must have some sort of structure, schedule, routine, something. It doesn't have to be 8 a.m. here, bop, 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 bop. Lord knows we don't get it right like that all the time. However, we do have a schedule. We do Math Mondays, Technology Tuesdays, Word Wednesdays, Throwback Thursday, and Freestyle Friday. So math is on Monday, science Tuesday, English, reading, all of that, comprehensions on Wednesday, throwback, that's going to be your history, geography, all of that. And then Friday, we freestyle it. We can go on a field trip. They could be learning instruments or music, whatever it may be, because it's also, every man for himself day. Like if it's been left over in the refrigerator, take it out, because Friday I'm not cooking. So that's kind of how the schedule somewhat goes. Also, if you are not aware of the damage blue light and screen time is doing to your child, I'm going to need you to start researching that and getting on top of that. So because of that, I am very strict with their devices, and I'm strict with their device time. So there's no screen time after 9 o'clock, usually in my house. There's no screen time. Now, you don't have to go to bed if you're not sleepy. You can read a book, you can draw, you can color, you can crochet, you can do anything you want to that does not involve a screen, period. Now, you do get a certain amount of screen time prior to that, but if you didn't finish your assignments in time for you to make it to that time period of screen time, whether it be television and their anime or whatever, because they don't get games during the week either. That PlayStation, it sits in the game room. I have a camera in the game room, and the door is closed so that if movement happens, Blink is telling me, hey, somebody's in the game room. Why? Why are you in the game room? It's not the weekend. So those are some of the things that I put into place. Also, parents, like if your child has a device, please, please, please put the parental family mode on your child's device. I can turn off their internet. I can literally make the phone what they call into a dumb phone. It will be a glorified paperweight. It won't do anything. After 8 o'clock, even if they sneak the phone, they still can't do anything with it, right? So those are some of the things that I've put into place to kind of help the neurodivergent children that I have that forget, very forgetful, what they're supposed to be doing from room to room. So these are some of the rules that I put into place to kind of help with those nuances of parenting and things of that sort. And so I think I'm going to end part 1 here, and part 2 is going to be more about how I tailor the curriculum that they learn about. One, to their learning style, because I have one child who is very much teach me how to fish, I got this, don't worry about it. And the other one that's very much like show me, babysit me, did I do it right? So because of these things, I have created a special way to make learning fun and tailor it to the things that they're interested in. And I will go over that in part 2.